Kubernetes is one of the skills that are in high demand. A blog called BScene has provided statistical information on this fact. And I'm here to demystify the concepts of Kubernetes in 5 videos. Each video will have 3 sections in it. Section 1. Use stunning analogies that you can relate to and remember the concepts easily. Section 2. Demo for your hands-on. Section 3. Optional practice assignments that can win you free laptop stickers. Watch till the end to know about this.
Professor, કોઈ ઓમોઝા રોબર?
Today's topic is Kubernetes architecture, and I expect that you have basic knowledge on Docker containers. This is Naren Krish, and you're watching Containers, as we know, is a block that holds your application, its configuration and its dependencies together, so that you can deploy it to any environment without facing any dependency issues or missing configuration issues. It changed the way we used to develop and deploy applications. With containers and microservice architecture, we'll end up with lots of containers to manage. This is where a container orchestrator will help you. Just like in music orchestra, where this person controls how different musicians unite together to produce well-formed music, container orchestrators help to manage the containers. Now, one such container orchestrator is Kubernetes. How can we simply define what Kubernetes is? Kubernetes is an open source platform that helps you to manage your containers. It helps deploying and scaling the containers based on a set of specifications. It is a desired state machine, which means you specify Kubernetes what it has to do and it will do everything to match that specification. If you look at the official architecture in Kubernetes documentation, for a newcomer it is pretty confusing with so many components. Okay, let's break it down. Let's take this restaurant as an example. This is a family multi-cuisine restaurant. They got separate room for each cuisine, while a common kitchen serves the food to all the rooms. You can book your table either via this kiosk or via the receptionist. You will have to specify what cuisine you are interested in, how many adults and how many children are there in your family. You can optionally specify you have additional members joining you little late. With this information, restaurant coordinator will allocate a table based on the adults and children chairs available in your preferred cuisine. To understand that better, let's take an imaginary family of Mr. Bites entering the restaurant. Mr. Bites goes to the receptionist and answers the 3 questions. We prefer Italian cuisine. He also adds that there are 2 adults and 2 kids in his family, including him. He also says it's only them and there's nobody else who will be joining them. This information is stored in the computer. Mr. Bites came pretty early for the dinner, so the restaurant is completely empty. Coordinator immediately takes them to the Italian cuisine room. A waiter in the room greets and invites the family and shows them their table. Waiter makes notes of the table and takes the order. He also feeds this information in his mobile, which is in turn sent to the receptionist's computer and stored. The kitchen is informed with the order, and Mr. Bites' family enjoyed their dinner as if free. Now take another example. This is Mr. Bribe's family. He is also a family of 4, 2 adults and 2 kids. He is interested in Italian as well. He is also not expecting any other member to join late. As it was a busy weekend, the restaurant is almost full and the Italian cuisine room has only chairs for 2 adults and 1 kid. Bribe's family got moved to a waiting area by the coordinator and they will have to wait there for any previous customers to leave to get an additional kid's chair. This information that the Italian room is full is provided by the bouncer from that room. This is also a reason why a restaurant has kept a bouncer in each room. Just like any other bouncers, they are there to ensure that their cuisine room is properly occupied and also to ensure that no family creates any trouble. Okay, I know what you're thinking. How this whole restaurant story is anywhere related to Kubernetes architecture. But hold on for a few minutes. Every component that is there in Kubernetes architecture, I'll try to map to the characters and the storyline that is here. This way you'll be able to remember each of the core components and the purpose of them. I bet you'll never forget the purpose of any of the components of Kubernetes ever. Now let's do a quick recap. We are talking about a family multi-cuisine restaurant. Kiosk or receptionist can help you book a table with just 3 questions. Coordinator takes you to the right room. Waiter records your table number and responsible for your orders to reach your table. Bouncer ensures the room capacity is well managed without any issues. Common kitchen serves all the restaurant. All information about you, your table, orders, etc. is stored in the computer. Now with just a snap of a finger, let's convert this restaurant setup to Kubernetes architecture. Let's see this overlay of Kubernetes architecture with our restaurant setup. Whole restaurant represents a Kubernetes cluster. Kiosk is our kubectl, command line tool to interact with the Kubernetes cluster. Family represents a pod in Kubernetes. A pod is a wrapper around one or more containers. Every family member can be considered as a separate container. Each of these cuisine room represents a worker node where you can actually deploy multiple pods. Each pods are nothing but a group of your containers. Waiter represents the kube proxy component responsible for data traffic to and from pods. It also records the IP address of pods to locate them right. Just like our waiter brings food to the right table by remembering the table number. Bouncer represents the kubelet, which is responsible for the node stability by managing resources like memory and CPU limits, also controlling misbehaving pods from nodes. We'll see more on that in later sessions. Receptionist, coordinator, and kitchen forms together the control plane or the master node of the Kubernetes cluster. Receptionist, who is the entry point of the restaurant, represents Kube API server. Every interaction to the cluster happens via this component. Just like the coordinator decides which room to take you, Kube scheduler component is responsible for scheduling the pods to the right worker nodes. Kitchen supervisor is responsible to give specific instructions to the cooking team based on the order, who represents a controller or a Kube controller manager in Kubernetes architecture. I'll explain this using a demo little later. The computer that stores all this information maps to etcd or etcd key value storage, which stores all cluster data. Now I hope you understood how this whole restaurant represents a Kubernetes cluster with single master and multiple worker nodes. I'm going to completely skip the theory part or the official definitions of each of these components. Just keep in mind the analogy of our family multi-cuisine restaurant and you are just fine to read any documentation on Kubernetes architecture. Let's jump straight into the demo for hands-on. Before that, if you are already liking this video, do subscribe to the channel by clicking subscribe button and click the notification icon so that you'll get all the new contents as a quick notification. To start with the demo, first you need Docker available in your laptop or computer. I hope this is already there. The next important tool that we need to install is kubectl, which is our kiosk. If you are using Docker for Windows or Docker for Mac, kubectl comes along with it, so you need not install it separately. But if you are running Docker without Docker for Windows independently, then you might have to install kubectl independently as well. Installation is pretty simple. It's just a binary you have to download and install. It's available in Kubernetes website. Link will also be provided in the description. By the way, if you're facing any issues during the installation or while doing hands-on or during the practice test, please feel free to comment in this video and I'll be responding it as soon as possible. I'll be using Kind. It's a tool to run Kubernetes multi-node cluster within Docker. Their official documentation has information on how to install it in macOS, Linux and Windows. Link is also provided in the description. I'm going to use Windows. And after installation, let's quickly check Docker version followed by the version of Kind tool. It seems to be okay. Creating cluster in Kind is very easy. For our example multi-node cluster, we'll have to provide a config file with information about one kitchen and 3 cuisine rooms. I mean, one control plane and 3 worker nodes. We grab this file directly from the Kind website. The link is also provided in the description. And click on the configuration link on the left pane, go down to Nodes section and copy this configuration file. As you can see, it has one control plane or master and 3 worker nodes configured just like we wanted. Let's create this file with these contents. Now let's create a Kubernetes cluster using the command kind create cluster. Pass the name as family multi-cuisine restaurant. Config file is the one that we just created. Wait for Kind to create cluster. For the first time, it will download some base images, so it might take few minutes, so hold tight. Kind creates each of the control plane or master nodes and worker nodes as separate containers. Let's just do docker exec -i to an interactive terminal in control plane to see whether we have all the components that we saw in the session. I'm doing a ps-ef and grepping for only kube components. Okay, it has a kube scheduler, which is our coordinator, kube controller manager, chef, kube API server, our receptionist, etcd cluster, which is the computer the receptionist used. So all components seems to be in place in the control plane or master plane. Let's get into one of the worker nodes to see whether we have all the components. When I say worker node, we are talking about the cuisine room. So very similarly, I am doing docker exec -i, getting into the container, running a shell command ps-ef, and then looking for kube components. As you can see, we have kubelet, which is a bouncer, kube proxy, which is representing waiter in our example. So all components are in place. Now let's start running kubectl commands. So which is a kind of the kiosk that we talked about. The very first command we are going to run is kubectl get nodes. This will list all the nodes including the control plane or master and the worker nodes. As you can see, the status is ready. It means they are available. Just to make it more meaningful, let's label the nodes to match our example, right? So let's label the worker nodes and then give them a name value pair of cuisine equal to Indian for the first worker. And then similarly, let's label worker 2 and worker 3 with cuisine, Italian and Chinese respectively. You can check whether the label has been applied inside the node by doing a describe command. So kubectl describe node and then pass the node name. So we are passing the first node. If you scroll up, you will see the label cuisine equal to Indian is available. Now let's also label our master node as our kitchen, because that's the common kitchen in our example. All this labeling is related to a concept called labels and selectors in Kubernetes, So you can label any resource in Kubernetes so that you will be able to select them using selectors. So label is nothing but a name value pair. Let's create a basic pod in our Kubernetes cluster. So I've created this YAML file, which is a specification to inform Kubernetes what kind of pod I need. The very first line is the API version. This is a little bit advanced to understand, but for now let's skip it. Kind is let's not confuse this kind with the tool that we are using. This kind is an attribute in our YAML specification that specifies which Kubernetes resource that we want to create. In our case, we are trying to create a pod, so we are specifying kind as pod. We can also label the pods just like we labeled our nodes. If you remember, we labeled our nodes as Indian cuisine, cuisine equal to Italian, master kitchen, etc. We can also label our pod. So I am labeling this pod with name as Enology and value as family. We can name our pod. So name of the pod that I am giving is Mr. Bytes family, because as I mentioned, the example that we are taking is a family is a pod which contains multiple containers. Each container represents a family member. So name of our pod is Mr. Bytes family. And as Mr. Bytes family was interested specifically in cuisine Italian, I am using this node selector. If you remember, we labeled the node with cuisine equal to Italian. So we are specifically mentioning this pod. I'm interested to put in a node where the label is cuisine as Italian, right? If this is an optional attribute, if it's not specified, Kubernetes will just deploy the pod in any available node. Here I'm creating containers for each of the family member. The first member is Mr. Bytes. I'm just using an image of BusyBox just for showcasing how it works. But eventually we'll see what are the useful images like either Nginx or MySQL. We can use any image as we want. So in this example, we are using BusyBox. The family members that we are considering is Mr. Bytes, Mrs. Bytes, Son 1 bytes and Son 2 bytes. So this is the simplest form of a pod. A pod specification can have a lot more attributes defined in the YAML file, but for now let's keep it simple. So just a quick recap, we are creating a Kubernetes resource of kind pod. We are labeling it with Enology equal to family. We are naming the pod as Mr. Bytes family. We are creating 4 containers, each of them named as Mr. Bytes, Mrs. Bytes, Son 1 bytes, Son 2 bytes. We are also specifying that Mr. Bytes family is specifically interested to be placed in the node with cuisine as Italian. Now let's head on to our kubectl command to create such a pod. We are going to use another command called kubectl apply -f, and then we can specify the file that we are interested to apply. So I am passing the file that we just created, mrbytesfamily.yaml. On running the command, we can see that it has mentioned the pod has got created. So let's run the next command, kubectl get pods. So this will just list down all the pods that's running in our cluster and a summary of it. As you can see, it has already created a pod named Mr. Bytes family. It has ensured that there are 4 containers running. 4/4 represents all the 4 containers are ready. If there is a problem with one of the container, we'll see that here. We can also see the status of the pod is running. There are no restarts yet. We can also quickly check the actual YAML that is being used by the cluster. So if you remember, we created a YAML and we passed it as an input, right? We can also get the information of a pod's YAML by running this command kubectl get pods -o represents output. I need it in output format YAML. As you can see, it is a little bit more complicated than what we sent to Kubernetes cluster. So some of them are very similar, like we have API version, we have kind as POD, and then we have the specification of the containers that we wanted to create for Mr. Bytes, Mrs. Bytes, etc. But there are a lot more additional information that the cluster has added. These are the runtime information, and some of them are the default values that the cluster considered. Don't get overwhelmed with the information that is presented here. We'll anyway understand them one by one in the future sessions. The scope of this current session is just to understand the different clusters, components that we have, and how these connects to each other. So that we successfully understood by creating the nodes, by creating a sample pod. We looked at the components that the nodes had. I think that's good enough for this particular session. For practice, I have provided a link in the description, which is a Google form. You can try out the demo that we discussed some time back and paste the results of the commands that is asked as a question. Based on the completion of the commands and also subscribing to the channel, you'll be able to win free laptop stickers which will be couriered to your address. So keep practicing. Try installing Kind, try installing the Kubernetes cluster using it, use kubectl commands, try running all these commands that I explained. If you face any issues, please get to the comment section and let's discuss around it. Thanks for watching. We'll be coming up with another session, same time next week. Thank you. Gracias por haber estado. Muski del Haidos del mundo no escrito 5 días, los 5 días lo pasaremos estudiando. ¿Cómo te el golpe?
Professor,
3人と東京
कोई ओमोजा रोबर?
I don't know about you, but I found it very fun.